Welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. Guess what's just arrived? Yeah, 50 pieces. Oh, yes, I'm excited. Some smaller pieces, some beautiful smaller pieces, nice chunks of Moldavite in there, and some bigger pieces for the practitioners who love to work with the bigger pieces, and some people who are at home and like to work with the bigger pieces. I mean, look at that. Look at the size of that Moldavite. Look at the size of that beautiful Herkimer diamond, and look at the size of that beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful absorber of negative energy, the Tektite. Isn't that fabulous? I've just got my eye on another one as well. I'll just pop that one there. That's gorgeous. Wow. Oh. Something about this one here as well. Yeah. Oh my God. These are, my heart is absolutely racing. Wow, this is phenomenal. They are, just look at that. Look at the natural inclusion there. The colours, absolutely perfect. Look at that piece of Moldavite. And look at that gorgeous Herkimer diamond. Now, you can't tell me that isn't a most beautiful prototype. I'm afraid I'm going to have to wear this one. So there you go. Latest collection is now here with the big juicy Moldavites. Absolutely fantastic. Well, you'll never see anything like this in any shop, that's for certain. Oh, let me try again. So let me just explain something before I don't want to. I'm on carpet, so I'm always okay when I'm on carpet. So depending on what kind of work you're doing, is depending on where you want the Moldavite, Herkimer and Tektite to sit. So if as a healer, I would normally wear it roughly about here where my belly button is, but this is okay too. So chest, belly button, in between is a good place. Why? Because as I'm working and working with the energy around, I've got this in this hand and I'm able to freely move it. If it's kind of up here, you're not really going to get that kind of energy work where you're moving and actually working with it. You can go down to the client. And if you're working freely as a healer, working on yourself, again, you've got a lot of movement here. Now, as you wear this just as a pendant and you want to feel the energy of the three crystals, the lower down you go, the more healing work of absorbing trauma, stress, pain, suffering, shock energy of the Tektite, because it's nice and low down on the belly where all our stress and all our issues and traumas kind of sit. The shock energy sits there. Plus the fact when it's so low down, you're working on at the back area too, because the Tektite is absorbing negative energy or impact of dirty energy, anything to do with working with people, and of course the environment around you. Lower down, that normally is where that negative energy sits, at the back of the kidneys, liver, all around here, that kind of area, in the lower back. Yeah, if you look at the backbone, lower backbone, you just come up a bit, round about, I don't know, 20 inches. If you're cleansing that area when you're wearing a piece of a trio, you'll find that energy starts to feel better around you, and you don't feel as if you've got as much backache anymore. You feel a lot clearer, and your immune system lifts, it boosts. It really does. It's tremendous for healers, practitioners. This three combination is tremendous in so many ways. So why would you wear it slightly higher? Why would you go a little bit? So let me just put another note. So slightly higher. So here, a perfect combination if you're working with heart energy, meaning if you're starting to do self-healing, if you want to connect to the spirit world, if you want to connect to extraterrestrial energy of any description, if you want to attune to more than one world and you want to hit different dimensions, this is a good place to wear it. And the reason why is because the Moldavite and the Herkimer diamond, which are working hand in hand together, are actually magnifying that very energy that you're working with. And if it's close to the heart, then the power of the heart, the power of the consciousness which is there, is feeding one another. So it works really well. A lot of people do suffer with Moldavite flush. They also suffer with a kind of like, I get it often when I'm working with genuine. When you work with genuine Moldavite, a lot of people experience the same feeling, this like you're trying to catch your breath, and that's because there's a lot of work being taken place with Moldavite and your consciousness and the physical heart energy. So it's quite phenomenal. Sometimes I have to get out of the room, I have to take the Moldavite off, I have to stop working with Moldavite just to have a breather, just to feel a little bit more at ease, and then I come back and continue working with it. Sometimes you can work all the way through it, and that's probably the best thing. That's what I try and do, but sometimes when you're working with like 10,000 Moldavites, it can become sort of overwhelming to the degree that you just need to get out and have some fresh air. So again, it depends how you feel and how you are at that given moment to how you're working, meaning that how's your energy, how you know, sometimes if your energy is really powerful, then I think it's a good thing to work through it. A lot of people ask me why I always talk about the trio, why I always work with it, what is it, why is it so special? As a healer, it's always been the three crystals that I've worked with closely, and it's always been profound after a 1 hour or 1 hour and a half healing session, or if I'm sat with somebody and doing the kind of psychic work that I want to try and help the client overcome any kind of issue or trauma that they're trying to get through, meaning how do I face my trauma, how do I understand it, how do I become aware of it. The trios are definitely a crystal pendant that helps us become closer to the trauma, helps us to acknowledge the trauma and helps us to overcome it. And I find that when you're working on clearing trauma, these three always worked well as a healer over the years. They were always my go-to crystals. So I always got good results with them, and that's why I always stuck with them, because they worked. When you are trying to attune to a higher level of understanding, the awareness, the awakening, that connection to the spirit world, the connection to our higher self, again, the trios are perfect for that. So when you're working on that kind of level, when you're a psychic, a healer, clairvoyant, clairaudient, tarot reader, angel reader, this crystal is ideal for working alongside your gift, your beautiful energy, which is the most powerful crystal in the world. Having three friends like this together, it just kind of brings everything in line for me. So more often than not, I would have this trio around my neck. And if anybody came for a healing session over those years that I worked as a full-time healer, they'd normally tell you that this was the three that was always around my neck all the time. It was my go-to. And like I said, the best hits, the best work I ever did was with the trio, always. Now, I didn't have the trio like this because I didn't have the money to be able to do it back then. I was kind of like working hard and didn't have the time. So I had three individual crystals around my neck. It was only up until a few years ago that I decided to fully focus on creating the most powerful pendant in the world, in my world, and what worked for me. So I created this trio. It was important that the tektite would be as low as possible, because as I wore them as three individual crystals, on different threads around my neck, the tektite would always hang round about my belly button level. And I was always able to then put it onto clients very easily to absorb the negativity on the stomach or in the brain or in the chest. So that always kind of sat down there. The Herkimer diamond was always a twofold energy. One, a lot of my clients would feel the energy, first of all, as the clarity would hit them when I placed the Herkimer diamond on their third eye. And then I would proceed to put the Moldavite next to it. So the Moldavite, the tektite, whether it was higher or lower, just below it, didn't really make that much difference. But I did know that it was important that the higher we could get as we wore the tektite, the Herkimer, and the Moldavite, the higher it went up, the more we were going into a kind of cleansing of old and bringing in new, the clarity, and then the visualizations, the unbelievable colors, shapes, patterns, faces, spiritual encounters, all of that. When we rose those three crystals, we were seeing unusual and very profound imagery in the mind or the third eye. So when I eventually decided to make a pendant with these three, I knew that the tektite had to be below, and then the Herkimer diamond or the Moldavite followed thereafter. So I started making these pendants a few years ago. It fast became the most popular crystal that I ever sold. And why? Well, because if you've worked with thousands of crystals, and out of all the crystals you've worked with daily, the hundreds and hundreds that I worked with on clients, you're gonna go for the one that really made the most impact. And if you find that one or two worked well together for certain reasons, like I've just said, then if it's working on a grown man who believes nothing in the idea of spirituality or anything like that, but his wife just sent him for a healing session and he didn't know what he was doing, and then afterwards he'd wake up and be blown away. So the hits, the positive reactions to these three crystals combined made for good reading. And I do a lot of workshops and talk about these three crystals with a lot of people. So yeah, the day that came that I could eventually afford to have somebody make me a pendant that would work like this, they were a lot smaller, was quite amazing. And then when I put it out there, they all basically sold within 2 or 3 minutes. And then something fascinating happened. A few people who had kind of really big platforms just suddenly bought one. It popped up on their feed and they shared it, and then it became, up until today, one of the most sought after pendants in the world. And up till this moment right now, I keep uploading. I keep working on fresh lots. I've just worked on, I think, 280 Moldavites, and they'll be sent now to Palo. I should receive some beautiful tektites from Vietnam. I'll be working on them for about, 3 weeks. Once I've done that, they'll be sent to Palo. And the Herkimer diamonds are in Palo at the moment, waiting for the other two to arrive so they can be made. But yeah, this basically is a labour of love from start to finish. They literally take months and months to create and then to make and then to be sent back. But when they are, it's always an exciting moment and it feels amazing, and just wearing this feels incredible. I do actually like the larger crystals to work with, but I actually like the smaller ones when I'm just wearing it around my neck through day to day and just holding it whenever I need it. They're self-cleansing, so you don't really need to do much with them apart from wear them. Let the work be done, I always say. Don't rush, don't force, don't expect. And you'll find that given time, once your trauma, once your issues, negativities are cleansed and cleared, then you'll start to attune higher and you'll feel a different frequency within your body, a vibration, and your level of awareness becomes, highly attuned. So it can take a day, it can take half an hour, it can take 5 minutes. It depends on whether your body needs the healing to begin with. And of course, the Tektite does that. It absorbs the negativity in the body, the issues, the faults, the flaws that we all need to clear. So from that, then the Moldavite and Herkimer Diamond, which work hand in hand, do their bidding. And the results have been quite phenomenal with so many of my clients and so many friends who end up buying a trio. So the Moldavite trios are the #1 seller of markbajerski.com. And there's only 2 places you can buy them. That's markbajerski.com and lemonhouse.com. That's it. But they're fascinating. Every day, when like just wearing this now, it's become evident that as I'm wearing it, I can feel there's a certain rawness, a pressure, and a kind of openness that's starting to happen in my heart. So I can feel the energy from one trio to another. It's incredible. So it's fascinating. And every day I'm fascinated by this trio. You should give it a try one day. If you're ever at your local crystal store, just ask for those 3 crystals, put them together and work with them and see what happens. It's, again, the most fascinating combo that I've ever worked with as a healer over these 2 decades. I hope this video serves you well. Thank you so much for going to markbajerski.com and buying your authentic trios. I hope you love them. All of them are signed, by the way, MB, which is my signature. So yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of this combination, and so many people now are starting to do their own, create their own, which is a real, it makes me feel good, because obviously something worked, something was right, and it confirms and reaffirms to me that this combination is still the most powerful combination in the world. So thank you so much for trusting in my trios, and thank you for trusting in the work that I do. And I hope sincerely that it's made a huge difference in your life. And if you haven't felt anything yet, keep working with it. Sometimes it can take a while before the trauma of all the years that you've gone through trauma. Well, you know, it takes some time to clear that. So don't rush, just work with it. And what I mean by work with it is take it off often and hold it in your hand, put it on your third eye, and just let the work be done. And don't look for anything, don't try and feel anything. Let the energy speak for itself. And that's it. And if you don't feel anything, just say to yourself, that's because it's boring through all that protection that you tried to protect yourself from, until eventually, when it's born its way through and it's come all the way through and blasted all of those walls that you've protected yourself with over the years, once you feel that first moment of, oh, I felt something, that's the beginning of the journey with the Moldavite trio. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. Link below to this new collection. Take care.